With the upcoming Neagley Spinoff set to expand the Reacher universe, it already has plenty of attributes that should help the show thrive. However, it will struggle to replicate one quality that makes Prime Video's hit action series so iconic. Having been part of all 3 seasons of Reacher, Neagley was the perfect character to be given her own solo project. Not only is she the protagonist's closest ally, but she is an extremely capable fighter and investigator with a unique personality, making the announcement of her spin-off show incredibly exciting. This will give the franchise more time to explore Neagley's military backstory as well as her connections away from Jack Reacher, which should flesh out the character even more. Maria Sten's excellent performance has already made the former sergeant a fan favorite, and with Alan Ritchson set to return in Neagley, the sky is the limit for this exciting series. Still, despite all the positive momentum ahead of its debut, the spin-off does face one major challenge when it comes to competing with the main show. Neagley's spin-off will be great, but it will have a hard time topping Reacher's villains. Frances Neagley, Maria Sten, pointing a gun at a man in Reacher Season 3 EP 7. Image via Prime Video. Neagley's quirky, no-nonsense attitude all but confirms she'll be a great lead character, but while her show is bound to be great, it may find it difficult to replicate the quality of Reacher's villains. While Reacher has many strengths that make the series so enjoyable, its compelling villains are easily one of its best features. Sure, Alan Ritchson is imperative to the overall product, as are the excellent supporting cast, but given how smart and imposing Reacher is, he needs some menacing yet believable foes to face off against. Luckily, each one has brought something different to the table, whether it's unpredictability, intelligence, or raw power, giving the protagonist a new obstacle to overcome every season. A big reason behind these antagonists being so successful is because of the source material, with Lee Child constantly giving his iconic action hero a fresh challenge, hence why Reacher Season 4's villains already sound perfect. Sadly, without any books to adapt, Neagley may have to introduce a completely original villain to take on the titular character. Therefore, it'll take something truly special to replicate the great enemies we've already seen, and unless the spin-off show borrows some characters from the books that Prime Video's main series doesn't plan on using, it could be an impossible task for Neagley to top Reacher's villains. Reacher's villains have gotten better with every season. Quinn, Brian T., confronting Zachary Beck, with Pauli, Olivier Richters, escorting him in Reacher Season 3 EP 6. Image via Prime Video. After Season 1 started with an interesting, mysterious villain, the pressure was on Reacher Season 2 to match this, yet each new foe has only gotten better. Although KJ Killer may not have had the physical strength to go toe-to-toe with the protagonist, he was a great introductory villain, as his psychotic and unhinged attitude helped him stand out. The fact that the main antagonist was kept a secret until the latter stages of the first season made Killer memorable, as despite being entitled and arrogant, the audience didn't know quite how sinister he was until it was revealed that he was responsible for each grisly murder. Somehow, Season 2 still managed to surpass him with Shane Langston. Played by the legendary Robert Patrick, Langston was a much more personal foe who hunted down the 110th unit, killing off several members. His head of security status meant he had plenty of connections and used others to do his bidding, creating a near untouchable adversary, which helped make his eventual defeat all the more satisfying. Langston may have been a coward, but he was cunning and ruthless, making him a step up, only being topped by Quinn and Pauli. Despite losing his memory, Quinn became Reacher's best villain after mercilessly killing the protagonist's protégé and living to tell the tale, creating his own criminal empire having survived his initial altercation with the main hero. He is easily the most versatile and elusive villain the show has ever seen, and with Pauli by his side, he looked even stronger. Pauli is the only antagonist we've seen truly overpower Reacher and even came worryingly close to killing the lead character, proving just how much the show's antagonists have evolved with every outing. What Neagley has to do to compete with Reacher's main antagonists. Maria Sten as Frances Neagley dressed in formal attire and tilting her head in Reacher Season 2. Although it would be fascinating to see some villains from the books battle with Neagley rather than Reacher, the spin-off show has a few ways it could make its antagonist compete with the main series. Firstly, casting a big name as Neagley's main adversary would instantly make audiences feel more connected, as was the case with Shane Langston. Having someone with a similar level of star power as Robert Patrick or an even more famous name appear in the spin-off would help draw eyes to the project and capture people's attention. Additionally, giving the character traits that we haven't seen in the franchise would also be beneficial, as a more flamboyant or bloodthirsty foe would feel completely unique. We've seen the cruel and intelligent type before, but introducing someone that's a little bit over the top would be a lot of fun, while a villain who is constantly craving conflict also sounds exciting. Likewise, giving the antagonist a personal history with Neagley will also create a dynamic worth investing in, especially if the new edition has no connection to Reacher.